Welcome to Domingo Show. And here's your host, Francis and Shawn Domingo.
This is actually going to be our first guest on the podcast, and we thought, who would we bring on, right? And this is a special one because we are bringing in Hurricane Michael Viloria.
that was very impromptu, right there. It just came out of it.
And who Michael is a pro boxer, and shall I mention, undefeated pro boxer. So, Michael, thank you for coming on today.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming. Just having a sit-down conversation with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for all your support, by the way. Like, it means a lot for a fighter to have people backing him. Because especially local guys like us, like all the bigger guys out there, your Canelos, your Terrence Crawfords, your Errol Spence Jr., your Lomachenkos, they have, just an entire army of managers and promoters and sponsors and stuff like that, right? And it means a lot for people who are trying to just build a name for themselves, to have not just sponsors, but local sponsors as well, because we got to bring each other up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Definitely. And there's a lot of things that you embody. And let's start off with your nickname first and foremost. Hurricane Viloria. Why is it Hurricane? Why are you called Hurricane?
You tell me, Shawn. You're the one who came up with the nickname. Well, the thing that I think a lot of you guys told me that there is something about being a force of nature, right? And I remember we had this conversation whether I don't know who, I forgot who asked me that, or who called me a beast one time, and you were like, "No, he's not a beast," and because you were like, you can tame a beast, you can't tame Michael. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. And then I started to really think, like, okay, so you can tame a beast. I'm not a machine. Machines can break down. I don't break, right? And one of you guys came up with Hurricane, which is a force of nature. You can prepare for one. You can do whatever you want. You can have a shelter. You can have your umbrella, whatever you want to do, but it still comes. And no matter what, it leaves a mark. Mm-hmm. So, and thank you. I'll take that. Like, I'll wear that proudly, man. Like,
there we go. And you know what? Like, I train with Michael, and it's very true. He just doesn't stop. He just keeps coming, and he fits the nickname well. So it's exciting to see the progress that you've made outside of the ring and inside of the ring. But other than being a pro boxer, who is Michael Viloria outside of boxing?
You know what? That's a very difficult question to answer, because I think recently now, especially after quitting my job as a special education teacher, I solely identify as a boxer, because to do so, to really pursue what you want to do, you have to be all in, right? Mm-hmm. I can't be Michael Viloria the teacher and be Michael Viloria the boxer, because boxing demands all of you. Mm-hmm. Not just boxing, but like your dreams, your goals. It demands all of you. You can't be scattered, right? And after my first pro fight, I realized that even going into the fight, I was still kind of split between being a teacher, being a boxer, and being whatever, right? And I realized, man, like I was able to do that while I was split. Now, what am I capable of if I go all in? And I woke up one day. Actually, it was probably kind of an overnight thing, right? Like after the fight, went to sleep, woke up one morning, and I'm like, I talked to my girl, and I'm like, hey, Amber, I think I'm gonna quit my job. And because for the longest time, the dream for me is not the destination. The dream for me is the fact that someone asks me, who are you? What do you do? And I tell them I'm a boxer. That is, wow, that's the dream, because we get so caught up in thinking about the destination and the goal and the final the final place that we're gonna reach, that we forget like the actual dream is getting there. Mm-hmm. Right? Because after you achieve your goal, you achieve your dream, there's gonna be another. It's never gonna stop. It's our human nature. It's who we are. We always want more. So the dream isn't getting what we want. It's the path getting there. The fact that we can walk the path, getting to whatever we want, that's the dream.
Yeah. Going through all those trials and tribulations,
Yes.
everything that you experience along the way, like that is the ultimate.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a fighter's life it's difficult, right? It's difficult being related to a fighter. You know, having a fighter in the family, it's hard. Both my brothers are fighters, and it's even hard for me because I have to watch them fight. I go through the nerves with them. You know, like they could get hurt. You know, they could hurt somebody really bad, and you know, just having people around you that realize that you won't be split, and when you're training for a fight, you're all in. It doesn't matter if there's a birthday or a wedding or an anniversary. It's unfortunate, but they're just gonna have to understand you're gonna miss that, right? And my girl Amber, I'm lucky that way that she understands that. She supports me, and she's the one that. So at times, especially my November run, she's the one that pushes me off the bed, like, hey, you got to run. I don't want to. It's hard. It hurts, right? Like, who wants to go out there dark as hell in the morning and run?
Tell us about that. Like, what did you do in November that was
okay, so
out of the world?
I started this Movember campaign 2 years ago during COVID. It was to raise awareness for men's mental health. I feel like as men, we aren't given the attention we need when it comes to talking about our mental issues. Why? Because everyone that checks on you is either your father, your brother, your best friend, your buddy. They're all men. Who checks on the guardians, right? Who watches the watchers? And I wanted to raise awareness on that because we don't want to keep fighting and suffering in silence. Silence kill. And I've had friends, I've known family who have committed suicide because of it, and especially during COVID where everybody was kind of isolated. So my friend and I, Ian, he's also our training partner, decided we're going to run. It started off as 240 kilometers because it was, the stats said there's 60 men that commit suicide every 60 minutes. So we wanted to run 60K a week. So that would be 240 for the month, and to raise money. And as the years went by, this is our third year, we decided let's go for 300. Screw it, you know, why not?
Yeah.
Let's make it a nice number. 300 is a very friendly number. So yeah, we did it, and we raised quite a bit of money, and I'm proud of that. But also I'm proud of the fact that people, while I'm doing it, people were either messaging me about their mental health, like like guys I never thought would be suffering are coming forward with it, and it was amazing. Like that to me was the main driving force. Just the fact that these guys are coming forward. During provincial weekends in Boxing BC, I've had coaches, other athletes, coming up to me and saying that how much they appreciate that someone out there that's trying to speak for everybody. That wasn't my goal. I didn't want to be the representative or whatever. I just wanted them to feel comfortable that me showing my own vulnerability gives them the permission to be vulnerable as well. And I think that's the biggest thing, is you have to give yourself permission to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a weakness. That takes strength. Right? And it's difficult because boxers, there's a very misunderstood concept that we hide pain. No, we face it, right? Because in boxing, you gotta hide that you're hurt. No, not really. You're facing the fact that you're hurt and you're doing something about it, and that's the beauty that I find in boxing, is that. And every time you're in the ring or you're sparring or you're training, there will be a time where there's a breaking point where you want to quit, you want to stop. The darkness takes over, but you got to keep that MFer on the passenger seat, right? And you just got to keep driving. Yeah. But he's got to be in the driver's seat too. You can't kick him out because that darkness is part of you, and that's okay. You got to be okay with that, and knowing that for the rest of your life, They might be in the passenger seat, and that's okay. I want people to know that, really. It's okay to be in pain. It's okay to feel empty. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to have all that. But you have to be the driver.
Wow. There's so many things that I want to ask about that. And let's just start off with doing 10K a day first and foremost. 300 kilometers that whole month is remarkable, right? There's not many people that can say they can do that, right? Getting up every morning to do that, like, what were you facing mentally and physically?
Physically, as you guys knew, in mid-November, my feet were all cut up, blisters, bloody, and everything. I remember you were there. I was sitting down on the mat, and all of a sudden, Kalea, one of our training partners, goes, "Hey, Michael, you're bleeding." Like literally, my feet was just cut up because I was running 10K in the morning, and then training 40 rounds of boxing in the morning, and then another 20, 25 rounds of sparring at night. So it was a lot, right? And I didn't have to do that when I first started because gyms were closed, right? So we couldn't really do any sparring.
Yeah.
Like just getting up and knowing that I have to take a step was difficult enough physically and mentally because I know I'm going to get hurt. I know it's going to hurt. And knowing that pain is coming sometimes is even worse than not knowing pain is coming, because now you're expecting it, right?
Yeah.
And it's honestly that was my biggest hurdle. Is I knew every step I took is going to hurt, and I'm gonna be out there for a while because I'm gonna have to go slow. So I'm gonna be out there in the cold, in the dark, in the rain, and it's gonna suck. But the thing that really got me through it is like I spoke about it before, is that my pain, whatever I'm feeling now, is nothing compared to the pain that people have felt in their entire lifetime, and they're hiding it, right? We face it. We face the pain. So eventually my feet would get numb, and then I'm just going to keep going. And then I'll deal with the pain after, right? And it never ends, right? There will always be pain, and that's okay. That's okay. The most important thing is we're moving forward. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without my dog. Because, honestly, like if I had to do it alone, it'd be a lot harder. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but it would be very tough.
Yeah.
But, I had my dog with me the whole time. And I had to take her off leash because if I had her off leash, she'd just be pulling me.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, oh, no, stop. But it's, but mentally, it's the dark. The darkness of the skies and the darkness of just what I'm fighting, right? Because when I was in kindergarten, I was diagnosed with clinical depression, right? And I think I talked about it before, where it wasn't even because I was feeling sad or anxious. It was just I felt so empty as a human being, and I didn't feel human.
This was in
Kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah. My teachers were all on it, like, and I went to a Catholic school at that time, and the religious administrators there, they knew, right? But it was the Philippines though, so it's different, right? Like they don't acknowledge that stuff as well, at least when I was growing up, as they would hear, and growing up, I just didn't understand what was going on. So deep into my adulthood, that's when I realized, oh man, like I'm not the only one though, like wow, I'm not alone. Like people are actually feeling this way, and in a weird way, that made me feel better. That I'm not unique. I'm not
Different.
That everybody's going through it. Oh, okay. I'm not alone, and loneliness is your biggest enemy at that point, right? That thing in your head, it's a bully. It wants you to be alone. It wants you to feel alone. But knowing that there are other people out there that are going through the same thing as me, it was comforting, So yeah, and I've had a really dark spell between 2015 and 2020. 2020 I had my return fight before COVID, but for 5 years I was set to go pro back in 2015, but I got into a really bad car accident. Couldn't move my legs for like 6 weeks. It was bad, and with the doctors telling you, hey, you probably won't box again. Like you won't be able to do this, right? Because you'll always be in pain now. That was tough on me mentally. it was really dark. Like I've had a really dark. Those were really dark years. Like it was suicide attempts. I was on suicide watch for 5 years. I was, my mood swings were crazy. The people around my life, I alienated them. I made myself feel alone, because I felt like I would be a burden to everybody else if they knew what was going on. Like I was fighting some battles that I can't even explain it to this day. It was bad, right? But it was accident after accident. 2015, 2016, 2017. Every time I tried to make a return, something brought me down, and I knew the people around me believed that I could come back, but I started to doubt myself because of my depression. Like there's no way I can do this. Yeah. It just keeps happening. I don't like it, and lo and behold, I just kept going. I just kept going. There's something in me that just said, do not stop, because if you stop, you fall. Like you're going to fall. So just keep walking forward. I remember talking to myself that way, like looking at myself in the mirror and saying, hey man, get it together. Every morning, man, is get it together. You gotta go. And to this day, that's still the same. When you ask me like what are the mental challenges, I would get up and look at myself in the mirror and like, get it together, champ. You gotta go. Okay? Like, I'm not saying I'm cured of it. There is no cure for it. But what you get is toolboxes. You get a toolbox. You get a bunch of weapons in your toolbox, and you use those in a certain situation. And one of them just happens to be me talking to myself in the mirror out loud, and hearing my thoughts out loud, and going, "Oh man, wow, that's what I'm feeling right now. Okay, let's step back and think why." And to me, at least, movement erases that. If I start moving, if I start training, if I have a goal in mind, then that disappears. Because we got to give each other, we got to give our lives meaning. We don't find meaning, we give it meaning, right? And people who are so deep in depression don't have the meaning in life anymore. So, but we have that power to give our lives meaning. We just have to have the right perspective, the right people around us, and the right tools for us to realize that we can do that. Now that I have a goal, like even though I still have those thoughts, those dark thoughts, I'm able to step back and go, no. If that ends now, you don't get to go there, and I know how badly you want it, right? No. And that excites me.
No. Back to that story of the setbacks, I remember hearing this for the first time, and with some detail to that, how much did you eventually got to a certain weight? How much did you weigh at that time?
See, when throughout my childhood, all the way to 19 years old, my peak weight was 285 pounds.
And what do you fight at now?
I'm at 147. Crazy. So I originally lost that weight and then started fighting at 140, 150-ish. From 19 all the way to 24, 25. And then when I got into an accident, I blew back up again to like 210 because I was on antidepressants and just depressive eating, man. Like I just couldn't do anything, but and when I started to feel like I'm mentally ready to make a comeback in 2020, that's when I started losing the weight again, and I go, okay. It was tough, man. Like doing it again a second time, ooh, because I thought I was past it. Like you lose all that weight, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah. And then you got to do it again. Whew. It's tougher.
It's maintenance that takes a lot
hard,
of work,
man.
right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Michael, what got you into boxing?
My dad. And I have to thank him to this day for doing that because he pushed me into it. I didn't want to box. I didn't want to do any of this stuff. I just wanted to stay home, play, eat, like any other kid. Yeah. Right. But I was bullied as a kid, and my mom, God bless her soul, she doesn't like conflict, even though she herself is kind of a badass. But she doesn't want her kids getting into fights, right? And so I always use my words to get out of that stuff. But there are times where you can't, and you're gonna have to fight back. And I didn't know how. And my dad was like, no, enough is enough. We're going to put you in. And he would wake me up early in the morning. Okay, we're going for a run. We're doing this. And then, and that's when he put me into a martial arts school where I met my current coach. I was 13 at that time. And yeah, even then I didn't really like it. I felt like I was just being dragged there. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to watch anime, play video games, and eat food.
Yeah.
You know? But eventually, I realized I was pretty good at it. And then I was kind of in denial all the way up to when I was 19 that, I actually like this. I love this. There's a part of me that always loved sparring, that always loved getting hit and hitting. And I just never admitted to it until later, until I was, I graduated high school. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm good at this. Because like, imagine going through high school, you're surrounded by people who are artistic. Right? All my friends were artistic. They knew how to create music, visual arts, filming. And I was like, man, what am I good at?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm good at. And then I realized, I've always boxed. I've always kickboxed. I'm decent at it. And then I started competing again. I'm like, oh wow, I'm actually really good at this. Okay, so I guess I found what I'm good at. And then I kind of just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It's that I liken it into being friends with your wife before marrying her for a long time and just don't realize that you love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Like I've been boxing for a long time. I just never realized I loved it. You admit to it, and it's the best thing in your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can relate.
It's so interesting because, and I want to say remarkable first and foremost, like I always hear how people got into boxing, and it's always like there's always an interesting story behind it.
It's always a story.
There's always a story with you getting bullied, and with this whole mental health battle. Would you say that kind of helped you get into boxing even more too? Like, would you say that drove you into boxing a little more?
Yes, absolutely. Because when we're training, and you would know, the boxing gym and the ring is a place where your darkness is accepted. It's okay. You can let it out and still be accepted, right? Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, and you're hitting the bag, or you're drilling, or you're sparring, you're so mentally engaged in something that even just throwing a perfect jab becomes a goal, and all of a sudden you have a meaning to your day, right? Some of us go through our days without having meaning to it. We're just kind of robots, and we wake up, we do this, we go home, we cook food, we do it all over again tomorrow. But if you go into boxing and you're trying to perfect one technique or trying to do a drill correctly with your partner, there's a meaning to your day all of a sudden. Oh snap! And you start thinking about it, like, okay, how can I do? And it really fights back the darkness. It does, because again, like I talked about earlier, it's our job to give our lives meaning, and even just that one thing, that hour that you spend in the gym, has given your day meaning. And if you can give your day a meaning, you can give your week, your year, your life a meaning.
There you go. I feel like each of us as individuals, even if we're not fighting in the ring, we have a fight to fight every single day, right? And with all the work that you've been doing, right, inspiring people, the ones that are close to you, and even with this whole 10K day that you did, you have a platform right now. What would you tell them?
One step at a time. I say that a lot, but it's true. Don't the fight for mental health isn't a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's somewhere in between. You got to go at your own pace and be okay with going slow, because our society wants everything fast.
Wants everything now.
Everything now, but in reality, life isn't like that. Like you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, and you're just gonna be just a flat surface as well. And that, I think, the flat is the worst, because the flat is where we lose meaning. And if we sprint and we go too fast, we end up in a flat. Right. Ride the waves, and don't be ashamed to have lows, and enjoy the highs, because you're gonna dip down again, and that's okay. Everything ends. Everything ends, and there's always something next. And no matter what you're going through now, just trust it's gonna end. Everything has an end, and when you get up top, enjoy it. Don't think about what's coming next when you're up there. Okay. Don't want more. Don't think, oh, this moment's gonna end and tomorrow's gonna come. No. When you're there, be there. Be there. Enjoy it. Because again, like it is fleeting. So when you're there, just be there. Be present.
Yeah.
That's what I find is I'm guilty of this as well. We're so fixated on what happens tomorrow or the next that we forget to live in today. Right? A lot of us struggle with living present, right? And that takes a toll on people around you, right? Whether that be your friends or family, right? I'm too busy. I got to think about what's happening the next or whatever it is, right? Those are a lot of things that people nowadays have a struggle with, right? So,
and it's difficult when you're a go-getter too,
Yeah.
because especially if you got like massive dreams, big goals, like we all do.
yeah.
It's difficult to stay still.
Oh, I can't stay still.
Yeah, it's hard. You're always thinking about what's next, and I think that's where boxing helps me, because, as you know, I made you do that drill.
Yep.
Just 1, 2, straight up. You can't think about the next round. You have to think about perfecting this round. This, not even the round, this second, this hip snap that you're doing, this step that you're doing. Because if you're thinking about the next step already, that step's gonna suck, right? So you have to be, and drilling the boring stuff really helps with taking you down back to earth and being present. Because in the ring, if you're not present, if you're thinking too far ahead, or you're skipping steps, then you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna miss something. So be present, and that drill, I still do that to this day, and I just finished doing it. Has really helped me, stay grounded and be present and think about what I'm doing. Like I said earlier, it's hard to be related to a fighter because of that stuff. You're always thinking. Not just a fighter, honestly, just be related to someone who's a go-getter, who have big dreams, ambitious. It's hard.
What's your big dream?
My big dream is, you know what, man? Like, I want to be world champion, and I'm not afraid to say that. Like, people could doubt me, but people who have doubted me before have now become my fans. Okay? So, yeah, keep doubting me. Keep doing it. Keep thinking I'm not going to make it, because I'm gonna, and you'll just be a witness.
There we go.
Talk to that camera.
Talk to him.
Directly right to them.
And I think when's your next fight?
You know what? I was supposed to fight a couple of weeks ago, but fights fell through. So I'm hoping sometime in the new year, the sooner the better, right?
How come?
Had a couple guys pull out of the fight, for various reasons I really don't care about. But it is what it is. It's the game. But as a professional, I have to stay ready. Right?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, right? So just like how you're talking to the camera, I'm gonna talk to the camera too. Calling all promoters, calling all fighters at 140. Michael Viloria is ready for this work. We're calling you all out, right? So it's exciting to see your journey, and I'm excited to see the things that you're going to be doing in the ring.
Thank you, man. And you know what? It's the same for you guys. I'm starting to see you guys a lot more often, like in terms of it's not just in person, but like your presence as well. And I'm really happy for that, man, because it's time, Like I've known Shawn since like 2019, and You know, like I know how hard you work, and you got a big brother that's mentoring you, and successful big brother mentoring you. So you're in good hands, man. Just proud of you too.
2019, eh?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Mike, I just wanted to ask, when did you have your first official fight
Like ever.
ever?
I was 13.
13?
Yeah, I was. It was in kickboxing, and I just got my like yellow belt, and it's almost unheard of to do that, right? And I was competing against men because I was so heavy. There was no one in my division, so my dad would sometimes fake my age to make it seem like I'm 17, and then compete with men. I was fighting men at 13 years old.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
So that was your first amateur.
yeah.
And what would you say the big difference is between amateur and professional?
The big difference, aside from the equipment, because the gloves are smaller,
Yeah.
and professional, it's the things that it's the details. In the amateurs, the ref and the commission is there to protect you from taking a lot of damage, right? Because you might be fighting next week. You're an amateur. Why risk it? And you're wearing headgear and all that. So anything, safety first. In the pro game, entertainment first.
Yeah.
So if you're getting hurt, let's say you get your head snapped back, the ref is there to give you as many chances as you can to bring yourself back, because you got to put some butts in the seats,
Yeah.
right? You have to sell tickets.
Yeah.
The boxing at that point becomes a business, right? You are a business when you're a pro fighter. You are a business. These are your money makers, right? So promoting yourself, marketing yourself, having real good promoters that care about bringing you up, and managers that truly care for your well-being. Those are huge in the pro game, right? And amateurs, not so much. Not so much. You could just get by with having no marketing, no social media, none of that, right? But with pros, it's who you know, and if you can sell tickets, and everybody knows I can sell tickets.
Saw that first one.
I sell tickets. I put people in the seats, and then at the end of it, they're out of their seats, clapping. That's what I do.
What's your professional record right now?
I'm 1-0 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I won fight of the night, my first fight. I gave people what they wanted to see, right? Because everybody expected a war, so I gave them one. And next fight is going to be on my terms now, right? I'm going to fight the way I want to fight. But there, I fought the way the crowd wanted me to do it, and I still came out on top.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you bring, man.
Just
No
bring
matter
it.
what, just bring it. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, where it is, whatever. We're going at it. That's awesome.
A person sitting on the sidelines, why is it so hard to get a professional fight?
Because of it's the lack of competition locally. That's why I think, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of I'm gonna get a lot of back talk for this, but the fighters out in the East Coast, they got a lot of fights. But here's the thing: in the East Coast, they think everybody here in BC is easy work, and that riles me up. If you think I'm easy work, come get it. Okay, like I've had enough of that. You know, we have some really good fighters here in BC, very good fighters that don't get enough recognition, and it just makes me angry. Like, you know, like people thinking you're easy.
Don't doubt me. Don't doubt me.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't
Like,
like
come
that.
see it for yourself.
Because it's not just individuals in the East Coast. It's the East Coast itself thinking we're easy pickings here in BC. We are not. You know, we have some damn good fighters here, amateurs and pros. I got my brother Terrence. I got my stablemate Elroy. We got Bunit Bisla. You know, we got Rhett Gibbons. Those guys are top, man. Like they're good fighters. So don't doubt us. Don't doubt us. In the amateurs, we have a lot of good amateurs coming up, man. You know, so Yeah, you guys in the East, just keep talking, man. Keep talking, and we'll just keep working. That's all.
Sounds like we need a East versus West
Yeah, we
Coast
do.
battle, eh?
100% we do. You know, like we have a lot of good amateurs coming up. We got Shoyan Wright, we got Kalea Roke, we got Delise from Griffins, Faryar. We have Logan Clouthier from Kelowna Boxing. You know, like really good amateur fighters coming up and going pros, hopefully pretty soon, right? So, yeah, they can keep talking. These guys will keep working.
That's beautiful. That's so exciting. No, look, like, just from everything, it's remarkable to hear this journey. Like, it's remarkable to, first and foremost, someone to fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
Right. It's remarkable to see the work that you're putting in, right? And it's time you got to fight soon, right? It's time to start for the world to see your talent for what it is, right? And to continuously hear your story, because not only have you just inspired people listening right now, but you've always inspired me, right? You've always inspired the guys around you, and that's why you're team captain. Right, like there's so many reasons as to why that is, but that's one of them. Is you always motivate every single one of us.
Yeah, you know what, man? Like I'm always gonna be hard with my teammates, always, and I'm always gonna be, like poking fun or whatever, because I'm a kuya too, Kuya Tagalog, big brother.
That's true.
Yeah, we do that stuff to our younger brothers, But I will always be hard on you guys because I know what you're capable of doing, right? And if I go out there and coddle you, you're never gonna improve, because the road ahead is long and it's unforgiving, and it's no place for a boy, right? You have to be a warrior, and warriors fight. Warriors fight battles, and they go through trials, they go through tribulations, they go through talk, they go through all that stuff. So I'm always gonna be pushing you. You're gonna hear me say things that you might not want to hear, but you're gonna hear it from me because it's my job. Because I know that you guys are capable of even being better than me, right? All of you guys, every single one of you. So I'm not gonna keep you down. I gotta raise you guys up. It's my job.
That's what's so fun about boxing or mixed martial arts in general, is you find out so much about yourself. Right, it's a demanding sport, just like how there's a reason why you had to take it full time, right? You got to be fully in there, because you could really get hurt, right? There's so many of those things, so it's awesome. All right, should we do rapid questions?
Yeah. So we're gonna do some rapid questions with you.
Okay.
Rapid. So whatever comes to your mind, just say it out.
Oh God.
First one. Favorite boxer?
Marvin Hagler.
Best Viloria brother?
Terrence. Sorry, Angelo.
Who would win the race, David Goggins or you?
David Goggins.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For real. He's 6'2", man. Like he has that stride.
He has those big long strides.
Who would win in a fight, you or Jake Paul?
Me.
Jake Paul, we calling you out.
Calling out, man.
Easy, man.
That's awesome. You got any other ones?
No, that's it. Well, Michael, we just really want to thank you for being on this podcast. Super inspiring. We love what you're doing. So if there's anything that we can do to help support you, you let us know.
No, you know that we always got your back.
Yeah.
And
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me here. Like it's pretty cool. Like I don't get to do this often, and like getting here, I'm a big time introvert, so I have to like talk myself up to the mirror and be like, hey man, you can do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. It's just a conversation. Like it's me, who I am. But like when I'm here, I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
It's funny you say that real quick. That brings me back to David Goggins being on Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah. I think he pretty much said the same thing. He's like, I'm so much of an introvert that I got to keep pumping myself up. I'm like, it's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. But no, it's because you guys are similar in that sense. So cool.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye. See you later.